All right, so we're going to review yesterday's market on the MES, trying to figure out our best trades, what we did right, what we did wrong. I know what I did wrong. I was looking at my review of my trades. I did not follow my plan on a couple of them. The other ones I did. Ended up doing not too bad, but it's one of those things where you got to keep working on your craft. We're looking for that impulse leg with the shelf being built and the follow through with the retest and continuation. So that's the setup. And we had a big report come out on inflation. So that's always an interesting bar to watch. Look at what it fell into. We have this structure here. Price just kind of landed right in there. So it didn't really, the price took all this stuff out, but it didn't take, anything out down here. But, we do know that price is working its way. When I look at the daily, I'm looking for clues as to see which way this market's going. And I am looking for clues, right? But we know that it's stepping down. Swing low confirms a swing high. Swing high confirms a swing low. So this is price is pulled back into this swing here, right? When we see price pull back into the swing, we see price pull back into the swing, right? Pulls back into the swing. So anyhow, in this scene right here, or this space right here, it is going up, but we are cautiously watching it because it is running into these sellers or these buyers, and it's been, gap got filled. We could see something come down here. I hate to say that that's what I'm expecting, but sometimes that's what I feel because we get biased toward what what we think is going to happen. So, what did happen yesterday? After the news report came out, we were looking at a couple of things. We have our impulse. We have a little shelf with no follow through. We had, for the scalpers in the group, a nice impulse up with a nice retest back to the base of this pivot. It's pre-market, so we weren't trading it, but we were watching it. Price came up again. Gave us some more clues. Breaks the buyers, follows through. Watching and watching and watching. Market opens right here and comes off. So now we have a new impulse leg down here. And I'm going to clear this out. Remember to set up your zones too, right? Price goes up, down, up, down, up. And that's, the prettiest you can get, right? That's not how it always happens, but that's what we want. So we're always looking at our zones as opportunities. And a friend of mine labeled this the kill zone. And the pressure cooker. Now he labeled it this because the kill zone is the area where, if price were to come down through here, break this group like we see right here, it's going down through it, right? It's going to keep on going. If it takes out the pressure cooker, then price is continuing up. And we note that when price does take out these things, price will return back to that group and carry on. Now, why does this happen? These people here lost and they have to reposition. These people here lost and have to reposition. So that's just part of the play of the whole thing. So as price is coming off, we have a pressure cooker here. You can see price bounces off, plays up, comes down. What does it bounce into? This old pressure cooker. And it falls. All right? Goes up, boom, boom, boom. And if you don't believe me, go find 100 of them. See how they look. See how they show up on every chart that you can find. And you'll see that price has this element of here. This one almost hits, doesn't. It's close. Right? Pressure cooker. Boom. Where does price land? Right on the top. Kill zone. Bounces off, hits the pressure cooker. Bounces off, hits the pressure cooker. Bounces off, breaks through. What happens next? Doesn't go through there. Right? Pressure cooker. So one of the things that I remind myself of oftentimes when price doesn't break through, right? It doesn't go up through here. I remind myself that it's running into the pressure cooker. So these sellers are putting pressure on it to go down. And the buyers are picking it up and picking it up. And then eventually the buyers win out with that play, which is kind of sets up the impulse leg. The impulse up brings the V, the shelf into play, and then we get our wash and then our retest. This one doesn't come all the way back down, but you know what we can do sometimes, and this is what I was talking about the other day, is on these, if you're going to take a zone, excuse me, and play it off of these, this balance swing, right? There's a balance here. There's a balance here. You can look at this first pullback as a area of support and resistance, because this area here gets busted and they have to reset. And it's something I've been playing with just recently, nothing too serious, but I've just noticed that that area there is a common spot for support and resistance. For example, when I bring this down here, my parallel bars, I run it off the first, I didn't do that right, hold on. I run it off the first pivot. Now, why am I drawing this horizontal? Because I want to make sure that we have a change in behavior that's going the other way. You know, if this were to bounce here and then go down, then we know that price is going to continue going down. It's just a tool to help see how price interacts here. Now, with this, off the first pullback, we have this action here, this price action. And if you're a candle guy, you can see the candle going up green as buyers are taking it up. It hits resistance, it hits resistance, it tries to go down, and then it takes off. So you get confirmation as price goes up, down, up, down. Oops, what did I do here? Get rid of that thing. It gives you confirmation as you're working through this impulse leg up. And I don't know how to, you have to see this a couple hundred times to understand that, you know, price is broken out through this guy here, right? It broke these sellers here, it broke these, broke these sellers here, broke these sellers here. Price is crossed over and is now on its way up. So what does that mean? How does that work in what we're doing? So for yesterday, price had, let's clean this up here. I was thinking, like what most people were thinking, that when this hit, we were going to see price, you know, because price has just been going up, up and up, that this was a top. Price was going to start coming down, coming off. And I have learned to watch these things because watching them gives me, it keeps me from getting fooled at what's possible. And I get fooled very easily. For example, as this ran into, as price came up here and took this out here, I saw this structure being made. So the mistake I made yesterday is that when I was here and I'm following my impulse legs, I got a little impulsive, right? I drew up yeah, I don't know if impulsive is the right word. but I sold that. In my mind, price was just going to come down. Probably my target was right here, and and this is what I had drawn up in my mind. Is this going to do this kind of thing? We have a top. Everyone got blasted. We've got a nice head and shoulders to finish it off, and boom. No. And the challenge with that is that now I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck on sellers being in control. So how do you unstuck yourself? You can unstuck yourself, then you can do pretty well in this business. You'll be just fine. Remember what I was saying about the pullback, right? It's just a really good area to think about. Opportunities when they cross over the median line or the parallel line and then pull back into the first pullback. It's just, I don't know, who knows? Something I've been paying attention to, that I'm paying much more attention to as I'm keeping an eye on these as I see them more and more, and then how can I use them? So anyway, that was one of my trades. Took my hit. I didn't use my full stop. I didn't come all the way up here. I was using a cash stop somewhere in here. But the other thing that I didn't do is, when you draw these out, you're now shifting your direction. You're no longer going down. So it gives you a heads up as to, what's going on with the price, so that you can adjust yourself and pay attention to these things, because I kind of ignored it. And my my other trade was right in here, as I was convinced that it was still going down, and I didn't pay attention to this, and I ended up catching a nice, see this break here, this after this impulse up, it happens on all these trades here. This is a bigger one, but it goes down, beautiful sell. I have my order rate on that, the stop up here, and I ended up somewhere in here, just kind of following it, and then it got chewed back on me. And then I kind of sat back, and I didn't trade for a few. I just kind of waited. And then I did see this. That's when I saw this in hindsight. Whatever. It's like, oh, there it is. I did catch this right there. I had this line drawn up, got long on that, this hard down, just cleaned everybody out, and was able to capture a handful of ticks as price pulled back up into here. And then it got a little long in the day, and I quit. I was done. I got chewed up a little bit, and I didn't want to fight the market. It's tiring to fight the market. And then here we are on Friday morning, 5:30, and price is now coming off. Oh, the other thing, I thought this was going to happen, right? Like that's how I kind of saw it in my mind. Something like this. Something, a brother that, it would go up, down, up, down, up, and then drop down like that. That was what I was thinking in my mind. So the big lesson here is just be open, keep yourself centered as best as you can. Follow those impulse legs. This one, had I taken my own advice, there's another way to see it. You can just, and it didn't continue for new highs, but it did give us a entry for a scalp up into there, and then using some price action reading to enter. And with that, I will say one thing about price action reading to enter, and then I'll get out of here because I got to get myself together to trade for the day. Last day of the week. Didn't do it. Okay, did. When I'm looking for a entry at a level, right? Let's say like this is a perfect one here. Right in here, right? And ignoring what this other stuff has. We're looking for a signal bar that is reversing the reversal, right? It happens at both sides, right? So look at the bottom of or look at your bottom and your tops of your pivots, right? And these are kind of weird examples because they have these big pops, but that's not terribly too far off. This one doesn't really give you a solid one. That hard green up is the hard down and the hard up. I mean, it gives you an idea that something's about to happen. Better day traders than I will capitalize on that. But here's what I want you to think about. These levels in here, you see price climb up, pull back, climb up, and again, draw your zone, right? Pressure cooker, going back to the beginning of this thing, pressure cooker, kill zone. Draw your zone so that you can see where this action might happen. All right, so this action is happening right into these guys that are just sold it, and it just bounces around. This hard down happens in this area. Price tries, boom, hard down, it breaks them. Now you can either get in here and sell it for a longer, put in order to sell it right there, just, boom, 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 like this, which I don't like to do because I can't do it right. It seems like I always screw it up. But then I sold this pullback here, and it gives you a stop. it gives you something to lean on. And with that break, I'm more of a bar guy. That to me is just the money. Price has told us what it's doing. It has pulled back. Sellers are reloading, and then they continue. And in a perfect world, this would, mimic the length that it had there. Take out the low, and then you would reset yourself. So look for those spots where those price breaks happen, and put it together with your price action and your zones, and you'll be able to start to see, right? See how this breaks right here, pops off of that, zooms up there. So these buyers just blew it up with the price up there. Price has to come back, and then off it goes. If anybody's listening to this at this point, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good day and go make some money.